The orbital defense station Aegis hummed like a diamond against Earth's azure sphere, its gleaming surfaces reflecting the distant sunlight. Commander Rylan Nash stood at the main observation deck, his weathered hands clasped behind his back as he watched the latest supply shuttle dock with practiced precision. At 45, with rust-colored hair turning silver at the temples and sharp green eyes that missed nothing, Rylan had earned his position through 15 years of unwavering service to the United Earth Defense Force. The station's ambient lighting shifted to evening mode, casting a warm glow across the deck. Commander Nash, the station's AI, designated FIOENIX, announced with its characteristic calm, "Priority transmission from Earth Command. Classification level, ultraviolet." Rylan's expression remained neutral, but his pulse quickened. Ultraviolet clearance meant involvement from the Interstellar Council. In 5 years commanding Aegis, he'd received exactly 2 ultraviolet transmissions. Neither had brought good news. "Route it to my private quarters, PHOENX," he ordered, already striding toward the transit tube. As he moved through the station's curved corridors, crew members snapped to attention, their faces showing a mix of respect and curiosity. Rylan had cultivated a reputation for being firm but fair, demanding excellence while remaining approachable. It was a delicate balance, but one that had served him well. His quarters, Spartan but comfortable, offered a panoramic view of Earth below. The holographic display flickered to life as he entered, revealing the stern face of Admiral Thaddeus Drake. The older man's dark skin was creased with concern, his silver-shot hair cropped close to his skull. "Commander Nash," Drake began without preamble, "we have a situation that requires your immediate attention. The Lumerians have made contact." Rylan felt his chest tighten. The Lumerians were among the most advanced species humanity had encountered since achieving faster-than-light travel. They were also among the most reclusive, having maintained minimal contact with Earth for the past century. Their technology was said to be centuries beyond human capability, and their culture remained largely a mystery. "Sir," Rylan kept his voice steady, professional. "They're sending a delegate to Aegis. Specifically requested you by name, though they won't say why." Drake's image flickered slightly. "Their ship will arrive within the hour. This is not a courtesy visit, Nash. Something has them spooked, and given their technological superiority, that should concern us all." Before Rylan could respond, FIOENX's voice filled the room. "Commander, unknown vessel approaching. Configuration matches no known signatures in our database." Drake nodded grimly. That would be them. "Handle this carefully, Nash. Earth Command out." The hologram dissolved, leaving Rylan alone with his thoughts. He moved to the viewport, watching as a ship seemingly made of liquid starlight emerged from the darkness of space. It moved with impossible grace, defying known laws of physics as it approached the station. FIOENX, full scan of the approaching vessel, Rylan ordered, though he doubted their sensors could penetrate Lumerian defenses. "Scanning," Phoenix responded. "Unable to obtain detailed readings. Energy signatures are complex. Detecting single life form aboard." The ship came to rest alongside Aegis, dwarfed by the station's military bulk, yet somehow managing to make their human engineering look crude by comparison. Rylan made his way to the diplomatic reception area, accompanied by his second-in-command, Lieutenant Damien Frost, a tall woman with close-cropped platinum hair and cybernetic enhancements visible along her jawline. The airlock cycled, and Rylan found himself face-to-face with a being that challenged his understanding of beauty. The Lumerian delegate stood nearly as tall as him, their form humanoid but clearly alien. Their skin shifted like the surface of an opal, patterns of light moving beneath it in complex geometries. Eyes like liquid mercury fixed upon him with unnerving intensity. Commander Nash, the being spoke, their voice carrying harmonics that made Ryland's spine tingle. "I am Vesper, though that is merely the closest approximation of my designation your language can manage. I come bearing grave news and a proposal that will determine the fate of both our species." Lieutenant Frost's hand instinctively moved toward her sidearm, but Rillon raised a subtle hand to stop her. "Welcome to Aegis, Delegate Vesper. Perhaps we should continue this conversation in more private surroundings." Vesper's skin rippled with patterns of acknowledgement. Privacy would be preferred, yes. Though I must inform you, Commander, that from this moment forward, we must remain in close proximity. The nature of my mission requires it. Raylan led the way to his private conference room, noting how Vesper seemed to glide rather than walk, their movements almost hypnotic in their fluidity. As the doors sealed behind them, Vesper produced a small crystalline device that hung in the air between them. "Your world is in danger, Commander Nash. A threat approaches that neither of our species can face alone. The Nexus Collective, a group we believed long extinct, has returned. They consume worlds, transform entire species into weapons for their arsenal. Earth has drawn their attention." The crystal projected a series of images, entire solar systems reduced to ash, planets transformed into mechanical horrors, species warped beyond recognition. Raylan felt his blood run cold. "Why come to me?" he asked, studying the Lumerian's mercurial features. "Surely Earth Command." "Earth Command is compromised," Vesper interrupted, their skin darkening to a stormy grey. "There are those within your leadership who would treat with the collective, believing they can secure Earth's safety through submission. They are wrong. The collective does not negotiate. It dominates or destroys." Rillon leaned back, processing the implications. "And your proposal?" "A bond," Vesper replied, moving closer. "My people have developed technologies that allow for deep synchronization between compatible minds. I was chosen because our neural patterns align. Together, we could access abilities and knowledge far beyond either of our individual capabilities. This station would become our base of operations as we work to expose the corruption in your command structure and prepare Earth for the coming storm. You're talking about a mental link, with an alien consciousness." Rylan couldn't keep the skepticism from his voice. Vesper's skin rippled with what might have been amusement. "I understand your hesitation, Commander. But consider, my people have had a century to study humanity. We chose you specifically because of your psychological profile, your adaptability, your unwavering dedication to protecting others. The choice, however, must be yours. The bond cannot be forced." Raylan stood, moving to the viewport. Earth hung below them, beautiful and vulnerable. If Vesper was telling the truth, everything he had sworn to protect was at risk. If they were lying, but his instincts, honed by years of command, told him the Lumerian's fear was genuine. "What exactly would this bond entail?" he asked, turning back to face Vesper. The Lumerian's skin brightened. "We would share thoughts, memories, abilities. You'd gain access to technological understanding centuries beyond your current level. I would better understand human intuition and creativity, qualities my people have long admired. Together, we might stand a chance against what comes." Rillon thought of his crew, of the billions of lives on the planet below. The weight of command had never felt heavier. "If I agree, how do we begin?" Vesper extended a hand, their skin now glowing with a soft, inviting light. "We begin with trust, Commander Nash. After all, fate has decided for us. I am yours to command, as you will be mine to guide. As Raylan reached for Vesper's hand, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was about to change, not just his own destiny, but that of his entire species. The moment their hands touched, a surge of awareness flooded his consciousness, and he knew with absolute certainty that nothing would ever be the same. The neural bond felt like starlight coursing through Rylan's veins. 3 days had passed since his connection with Vesper, and each moment brought new discoveries and disorienting sensations. He stood in his quarters, watching his own reflection in the viewport, noting how his eyes now held a subtle mercurial sheen, a visible sign of the change within him. The physical manifestations will stabilize soon. Vesper spoke from across the room, their opalescent skin pulsing with gentle patterns of reassurance. Your neural architecture is adapting remarkably well. Raylan flexed his fingers, watching as tiny threads of light danced beneath his skin. And the knowledge transfer. When can we begin accessing the tactical information about the collective? We already are. Vesper moved closer, their presence sending ripples through Rylan's consciousness. Even now, your mind is processing centuries of Lumerian history, but we must proceed carefully. Too much too quickly could overwhelm your neural pathways. A sudden surge of foreign memories flickered through Rylan's mind, vast ships of living metal, worlds transformed into mechanical nightmares, and the cold, calculating presence of the Nexus Collective. He steadied himself against the wall, breathing deeply. Commander Nash to the bridge. Fairy Nex's voice interrupted, its usual calm tone carrying an edge of urgency. Priority transmission for Earth Command. Raylan straightened his uniform, sharing a knowing look with Vesper. Through their bond, he could sense their shared apprehension. Time to face the music, he muttered, more to himself than his alien companion. The main bridge of Aegis hummed with activity as they arrived. Lieutenant Frost stood at attention, her cybernetic enhancements glinting under the overhead lights. Sir, Admiral Drake is waiting. He's not alone. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing Admiral Drake's familiar face alongside a woman Raylan had never seen before. She wore the insignia of the Intelligence Division, her sharp features and augmented eyes marking her as someone accustomed to operating in the shadows. Commander Nash, Drake's voice carried none of its usual warmth. This is Director Helena Blackwood of Special Intelligence. She has some questions about your guest. Blackwood's augmented eyes focused on Vesper, their mechanical irises contracting. Commander, you've been harboring an unauthorized alien entity on a classified military installation for 72 hours without proper clearance or documentation. Explain yourself. Raylan felt Vesper's consciousness brush against his, sharing crucial information. Through their bond, he could sense the subtle wrongness in Blackwood's presence, neural patterns that didn't quite match human baseline. Director. Raylan kept his voice steady. Delegate Vesper's arrival was cleared through proper channels. Admiral Drake himself. Those clearances have been revoked. Blackwood cut him off. The Lumerian will be transferred to a secure facility for examination. A containment team is already en route. Through the bond, Raylan felt Vesper's alarm. Asterisk they are coming to silence us. Asterisk their thoughts merged with his. Asterisk that Collective's influence runs deeper than we feared. Asterisk. With all due respect, Director, Raylan straightened, letting some of Vesper's knowledge flow through him. I cannot comply with that order. Under Article 7 of the Interstellar Cooperation Treaty, any attempt to forcibly detain a diplomatic delegate constitutes an act of war. Blackwood's augmented eyes narrowed. Interesting that you would quote that particular article, Commander. It's not exactly common knowledge among station commanders. Knowledge has a way of spreading, Rylan replied carefully, feeling Vesper's approval through their link. Perhaps we should discuss why special intelligence is so interested in containing a diplomatic delegate rather than addressing the actual threat to Earth. The temperature in the room seemed to drop. Through their shared consciousness, Rylan could see the subtle shifts in Blackwood's neural patterns, rage, calculation, and something else, something inhuman. Commander Nash, Admiral Drake spoke up, his expression troubled. Stand down. That's an order. Lieutenant Frost moved slightly closer to Rylan's position, her hand near her sidearm. Through the bond, Vesper shared a quick tactical assessment. Frost's loyalties lay with her commander, not with Earth Command's increasingly suspicious orders. I'm afraid I can't do that, Admiral, Rylan replied, letting Vesper's knowledge guide his words. Not until we discuss the recent communications between Special Intelligence and the deep space anomaly at the edge of the Kuiper Belt. Blackwood's composure cracked for just a moment, her augmented eyes flickering with an unnatural light. You're exceeding your authority, Commander. This is your final warning. Fieshoinx, Rylan called out, Execute Protocol Omega-7. Authorization Nash Delta 9-3. The A's response was immediate. Emergency bulkheads slammed down throughout the station, and the main screen went dark. Rylan turned to his crew, knowing the next few moments would determine everything. All hands, this is Commander Nash. Aegis has been compromised at the highest levels. Trust no transmission from Earth Command until further notice. This is not a drill. Through their bond, Vesper shared images of hidden Numerian safeguards. Technological failsafes built into the fabric of space itself. We have minutes before they breach the station's defenses. Vesper's thoughts merged with his. The proof we need is in the quantum archive, but accessing it will leave us vulnerable. Lieutenant Frost, Rylan turned to his second-in-command. I need to know where you stand. Frost's cybernetic jaw tightened. With you, sir. Always. Good. Rylan nodded, feeling Vesper's consciousness aligning with his own more deeply than ever before. Because what we're about to do violates about 30 different regulations, and might just save humanity in the process. The station's alarms began to wail as multiple ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel nearby. Through the viewport, Rylan could see them, sleek, black vessels that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Special Intelligence Response Team, Frost reported, her cybernetics scanning the approaching ships. Heavy weapons. They're not here to talk, sir. Rylan felt Vesper's presence strengthen in his mind as they shared knowledge and power. His skin began to shimmer with the same opalescent patterns as theirs, the bond between them growing stronger in the face of danger. Then it's time to show them what humanity and Numerians can do together, Rylan declared, letting Vesper's ancient knowledge flow through him. Prepare for emergency protocols. We're about to rewrite the rules of engagement. As the enemy ships moved to surround Aegis, Rylan felt no fear. Through his bond with Vesper, he could sense the threads of possibility spreading out before them, paths to victory hidden in the quantum fabric of space itself. The real war for Earth's future was about to begin, and he intended to win it, no matter the cost.